It's May 6th at 2:05 p.m. Please rise, and we're going to have a prayer led by Commissioner McCall.
Lord, thank you so much for opening our schedules so we can meet. You've helped us to overcome many hurdles to get together. And so we just thank you for that. And we thank you for all the answered prayer. We just thank you for the rain. We've been praying for many, many months for rain, and you send it in your timing. And so we're grateful for that. Please guide and direct our conversation today. And we just thank you for everybody who's here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. We'll have a quick pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, with that, our first order of business is the approval of the April 16th meeting minutes. And I had sent the draft minutes to Kelly Cook with TCEQ sometime last week, and he got back to me on Friday, I think it was, with just a request to change a very small portion of the minutes. Those I think I sent out yesterday. And has everybody seen the little minor correction that he had? He just wanted to clarify that TCEQ may seek cost recovery from the responsible parties to recover the expenses of this was the disaster scenario in the cleanup and so forth, as opposed to, I think the minutes initially stated that they would sue local governments to recover some of those expenses. So they have clarified that, and with that, that's okay. We need a motion to approve the draft minutes from the April 16th, 2025 minute.
That we approve those minutes.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Holt, welcome to Kendall County.
Yes,
We are just approving the draft minutes. Would you like to cast your vote in favor of approving the draft minutes?
I've read the draft minutes.
With the
I do
change
say aye
made by
for approval.
TCEQ? All right, thank you. We'll make it a unanimous approval,
Okay.
5-0. Good. And that brings us to agenda item number 2, which is the coordination or communication with PUCT, LCRA, and TCEQ. And we kind of left it so that we could coordinate if PUCT would have agreed to come to the table. We had certainly asked them to. We're not getting any significant cooperation from them so far. So we'll need to start talking about what's the next step. We've written 3 letters so far. And well, I'll go ahead and mention it now. Last week, I met with Senator Pete Flores and talked a little bit about the struggle with getting state agencies to coordinate with us, as is their obligation under Chapter 391. And he offered to, use his sway, if you will, and make a request that they go ahead and meet with us. So I don't think he's done that yet. I'm kind of working with a person in his office, Mr. Harold Stone. And I had reached out to him this morning, and he asked for some further questions about the whole Chapter 391. So anyway, I've given him some that information. We'll see if they'll go ahead and do that. Otherwise, that's kind of the story with PUCT. We continue to ask them to come, and the fact that ERCOT has given us a response that said they're not obligated to attend a formal meeting. We actually have a letter from their Assistant General Counsel that says he's available to assist on any questions we have. This is the same gentleman that Commissioner Holt and myself had a Microsoft Teams conversation with, and he tried to clarify what ERCOT does and what they don't do. But he's, again, basically stating that ERCOT's primary role is just to ensure that generation projects, and they include BESS in generation projects, which way they do. But they manage the generation interconnection process, which includes studies and testing that confirms that new generation projects wouldn't disrupt the performance of the grid, but they don't look at the location or the type even, for that matter, which I find quite strange. But effectively, his position is they're not a state agency, so they're not subject to Chapter 391 of the Texas Local Government Code. So I had suggested in my last letter to Public Utilities Commission, who are very clearly a state agency and who are obligated to conduct a coordination meeting with us, that they bring their subordinate, that company ERCOT, to the meeting. So I think that probably should be our position in the future. We'll see what happens that way. But we need definitely to get Public Utility Commission here. And the letters we've gotten from Public Utilities Commission is kind of saying the same thing, that they don't approve the location or type of generation. So it begs the question, well, then who really does? Who is responsible for the permitting and approval, and for that matter, even the funding of battery energy storage systems? How are they getting the federal subsidies and everything that's making it worth their while to do this stuff? So that's kind of the update on PUCT and TCEQ. I'm going to ask Mr. Commissioner Holt to talk a little bit about LCRA. Yes, sir.
We have had limited contact with LCRA previously. The Director of Energy for LCRA, Randa Stevenson, and she was able to get on a phone call with me previously to discuss their role in power and how they coordinate with ERCOT. And they recommended I contact ERCOT to get any updates on power authorization on the grid. LCRA did say that they are beholden to accept them if they meet the ERCOT requirements. And Randa is in charge of the electrical power portion for generation, which includes BESS or LCRA. She's the main person in charge. I did reach out to her several times recently, and I'll continue to do that to get them to come here to a meeting, but they've kind of gone quiet on the net, you say. My intention is to have them come here, but I would like to precede that with a meeting at their headquarters to see the overall power strategy and how battery energy storage systems fit in with what they see in the future, and about what their role is to protect the grid as well as the environment. And then specifically ask about what they know about BESSes at both Kendall and Kerr County. But I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten through the door. I've gotten through the phone. But that's not good enough in my mind.
And I think as a minimum, we need all the information LCRA has about any best developer that's approached them to connect to one of the substations in Kerr or Kendall County as a minimum.
Yeah,
Like, what else can we know a lot more about their process and what testing they actually do, and what is their role in the approval? But
So I have some people who live on Flat Rock Creek, and as they see things, they may send stuff to Commissioner Carpenter as well, but it looks like they've been doing some work on the substation, as in getting ready for more power. They're sending me pictures of LCRA working, so.
I don't know, has anybody else recently checked the ERCOT website for? I looked at it and I could only find 2 projects, one in Kendall and one in Kerr, that are listed on their, whatever that is, spreadsheet, if you will.
Yeah,
So
Comfort has the 3 projects
they
under
only
Kendall
show it
Station.
one. I didn't see 3 separate listings for separate projects.
Yeah, last
Unless I
time
missed
I
it.
checked, under their website, it was both on 7150,
Maybe,
138 kV, which are both of the known projects. And the big one again is unknown megawatt still on the ERCOT website on the 345 kV line. That's the one that of course has us concerned as well.
maybe I went to the wrong database
And then Mountain Home.
Just Mountain Home.
Yeah. That's currently what's on their, process or path for approval on the ERCOT website.
On that spreadsheet, are you talking about?
Okay.
Just for kind of, for the records, for a few people in here that haven't been in our meetings. Apparently, there's no licensing or permitting for these projects through anyone. These battery companies come in, they find a site that's close to a power station. They apply for what's called an interconnectivity agreement. They try to find out, or they have to find out, how much power can they take off the grid and how much power can they put back on the grid in order to qualify to attach to the grid. As long as they get through all of those steps, they don't get licensing from TCEQ, from ERCOT, from Public Utility Commission, from LCRA. There's no license at all that we can find of any kind for any reason for them to be able to connect to the power grid. So they're basically unrestricted,
Regulated.
unregulated. That's the best term. And so it's really something that our legislators have to figure out, because these organizations honestly don't have the authority just to make up their own rules on their own. And you don't want them to either. That would be bad government. What if our commissioners court started regulating and making up our own laws that didn't exist? You can't.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line and it's a dangerous place, but it's pretty shocking actually that this can happen.
Thank you. I just got this in my mailbox that was sent to me as county commissioner in Kerr County. I'm gonna guess that you got one too if you opened your mail yet. And you guys may have gotten them too. I'm guessing this is from ERCOT.
Huh.
And they're very proud of their efforts of what they're doing to make the grid more reliable. But of course, when you look at it, what's pretty concerning is the increase in battery energy storage system that they're projecting. They're showing let's see, this is 10,000 megawatts of capacity in 2024 and a target of 36,000 by 2029,
Just for BESS.
just for BESS. And of course, you know, wind and solar are going up too. They're showing, let's see, solar and wind. Make sure I'm getting the right.
No, I have
Yeah,
not seen that compared to what I've been.
The solar is 29 currently with a target of 70,000 megawatts. And wind is 39,000 with a target of 46,000. So as this confirms what I've been told, that it's really solar that is driving the need for BESS. Because again, solar is reliably unreliable. Shuts off every day. Anyway, anybody who wants to see this, we don't have too many out there. If you take a look, take a photo if you want. I think everybody else is going to get a copy if you haven't, but I'll pass it around anyway. I just thought it ironic that
Yeah,
they're so proud of hurting us all.
yeah. Is it the case? I think I've read it that actually solar and wind today make up 30%.
I think it's higher than that.
You think, because this, and
But, you know, they quote different numbers. One is dispatchable and,
right,
you know, and then there's, you know, capacity, which capacity doesn't mean that they can deliver that amount all the time. And that may have been true with the
Yeah.
numbers I just quoted in there.
it just represents an increase in the percentage.
It's still a huge increase compared to traditional thermal types, what they're calling thermal, which is gas powered or coal powered
Right.
generation.
So we need to reevaluate how many BESSes that means, because
Yeah.
the current projections that I had on all my slide deck was a demand for 19,000 megawatts of storage, and that was ERCOT only about less than a year ago. That was their projection. This is now 35,802. That's almost a twofold increase.
Yep.
And it was 800 or something.
Yeah.
Original BESS, and then I reframed that to 922, but that was still based off 19,000. I've got to figure out calculations, how many BESS that means. Unknown until we see it on the ERCOT website.
On the front of it, it said 2024. So was that kind of their estimation on the front of the flyer?
Yeah, this is state of the grid for 2024.
So hopefully with our new leader of our nation, and he's changing what
That's our only hope.
I'm hoping that they're
Biggest hope.
going to defund these programs and so that they don't get any money because that's the only way they're making money.
You're absolutely right.
And then the other thing too is that they claim that they can add power when there's a power outage, and they cannot. They have to island, and they cannot add power to the grid. It will harm, because when the power comes back on, it will actually harm their batteries. So they have to pull off, and then they get permission. So they do not add power in a power outage, which is what we've heard them say.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's interesting to me that they call them generators. They're not generators. They're not generating anything new.
Money.
Well, maybe that's how it works, but they're not generating electricity. They're storing it and returning it with some loss, because anytime you move electricity, there's always some energy loss. So,
But they're not losing.
well, no, they're making money, and you know, they're getting subsidies that cover up to 70% of their capital cost.
Yeah.
And I'm also hearing that they even get some of their operating costs covered. So it's just take away the subsidies and these projects die. So, and just for the public, so you can think about, you know, gosh, is there anything I can do? Absolutely. I'm working on a letter to our president.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to do the same thing. In fact, you know, the governor, lieutenant governor, all your representatives, whoever you can think of, make your voice heard. Follow them. But, you know,
Well,
if
speaking
you're
of
concerned
that,
about this stuff, yeah,
and to go back to TCEQ.
yes.
Two things, but the first is, we got, so Audrey Berner wrote to TCEQ. I think all of you have seen that letter, and it was a very detailed letter and thoughtful, and Kelly Cook responded. And his response had a lot of extremely interesting information in it, and both her letter and his response. So, but one of the things that she mentioned, I didn't know about this, that Governor Abbott actually has issued 2 executive orders, which are potentially relevant to one of our concerns about BESS, and that is that they're manufactured in China. And so security issues around that. And this executive order 49 potentially gives us a kind of in for contacting the governor and trying to ensure that that executive order is applied to the best, and also educating him.
And that order says they can't use Chinese manufactured.
Well, I brought a copy of it. It doesn't say that. I mean, it's trying to harden up our critical infrastructure preparedness and approach and everything.
I haven't read the thing either.
And I do have a copy of it with me, but the general thing, and this came up in our hearing, one of the members of the public mentioned that we need to go higher because our state agencies are showing themselves, and possibly even our legislature, we'll see what y'all are going to say about that, but that we're not so far getting a lot of positive feedback to our concerns and that we might need to go higher to the governor, to the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, and ask them for the authority that's needed, or basically educate them and ask them to protect us. So apparently, that's something that I actually wanted to talk about. Not today, we're not prepared to do it, but to put on the agenda of a future meeting, that we may want to review our strategy.
Sure.
And even though the 391 Commission, you know, the main tool it gives us is the legal possibility to coordinate planning with the state agencies. It doesn't prohibit us from taking other strategy options. And I'd just like to talk about them, the governor being one. So.
Yeah, I agree.
I will just say that I encourage any and all individuals to take action, use some of the information available on our website or whatever, but write your representatives, write your governor, write your lieutenant governor, write your US congressman. He's on our side. Senators, all of that. I will remind this board that we have been cautioned by Dan Byfield not to directly correspond with the governor's office because
Oh, really?
he's concerned that could put us under their, I don't know, how did he word it? You know, because it's like, that's why we have to be careful that we don't use county funds, because it makes us subject to the state. And in terms of audits and a lot of additional paperwork, and we want to stay as independent as possible.
Sure.
So I think almost anything other than that is open, but we just have to be a little bit careful. Correspondence from this entity. But as
To
an
the governor?
individual, Linda Bullard can
Yeah,
send a letter
that's
to the
different.
governor.
I can do that, right?
That's
But
right.
that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I feel like we have some, we have more leverage than we're allowing ourselves. And I just like to kind
We
of
can
at
certainly
least
talk about it.
discuss it. I mean, we can't discuss it anywhere other than a
That's
meeting.
true.
Yeah.
So I'd like to discuss it in a meeting.
Have a quick look.
And also, before we leave TCEQ, we, requested a number of things
Yes.
from them. And I assume we're going to hear from them. And
I think my game plan was to go ahead and take the minutes that you did a wonderful job of preparing. And you've got all those, it's a long list of things that they agreed to give us
right,
that we either asked for or anyway came up in conversation. And I want to formalize that into a letter, which I will send to Kelly Cook
great.
and just say, reference our meeting and our meeting minutes, which you've obviously reviewed,
Right.
please provide this at your earliest convenience.
Mhm.
So
That'd be great.
We'll see what
There's
happens.
a lot of
But
information.
I think it'd be
requested.
good to formalize that request
Yeah.
in form of a letter. Okay. So anything else on PUCT, LCRA, or TCEQ communications, coordination, next steps? You ready to send a letter to LCRA?
I think we need to, especially from our side.
I'll take care of that. Agree?
I agree.
Is there any other recommendations that Byfield has for us?
I'm sorry?
Any other recommendations that Byfield has for us as far as?
He was the one who suggested I get in touch with, our US congressman, which we did. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But, I think he said we need to reach out to anyone who might be able to help us and influence this issue. But he didn't get real specific. And otherwise, he just kind of said, okay, well, he did say that we could get our attorney to issue a formal legal notice and, effectively take PUC to court. But we don't really have an attorney, just so. That's when you start to have to raise funds to hire an attorney to.
I thought he was gonna help us with that part.
Say what?
I thought Byfield was going to help us with the legal side once if it came
Yeah,
down.
I'm not, I guess maybe I can go back and have another conversation, but I'm not sure that he is still actively practicing as part of the problem.
We
So
have,
he's advising, but he's not practicing.
well, we have community members that are willing to donate funds to his organization for his help,
Well, let's,
but
let me go back to him and talk about that. But you know, that would be the next step. If we can't get them through, you know, and you've got a different senator, you might want to reach out to your senator or your representative to use their influence to get PUC to coordinate. Because, you know, assuming Pete Flores will. And I'll follow up. I've already asked West Verdell to do something similar. I don't know that he has. Part of the problem is they're also busy with the
Right.
current legislative session. But again, I think we have to use every angle we can think of to try to get, in particular, PUCT to the table. I'd like to see LCRA as well and have a discussion with them. I don't want to say too much more about LCRA, what they can and can't do, but if nothing else, they are obligated to inform us of what they're doing and who they're connecting.
Did you,
And there was actually a real good recommendation. I don't see him today, but Joe Rexich sent me an email and suggested he might want to send it to you before you meet with LCRA.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that.
did you send a letter, did you send that, Travis County, ruling, for Waller County with them? You sent those with the letters? Okay. Should I go?
The second round.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to.
So they've gotten
Yeah,
it.
okay.
And the third round, I didn't necessarily want to repeat it again, but if there's a fourth letter, probably will.
They were all very strong letters, I thought, but do you
Yeah.
think that, I mean, looks like we're headed toward a legal confrontation, and I just wonder if we should, if any of us are in a position, if to do so, if we should be looking for a pro bono legal
Well,
assistance.
I think if anyone knows a good attorney that would be willing to work at minimal cost to help our cause, absolutely, we'd love to talk to them.
So it's
Let us
just
know.
someone, just a Texas bar.
Basically, yeah, that's all it
That's
takes.
it. It's just, okay.
I do think that's going to be important because there's going to be a point in which I think we need to engage the Attorney General and say, we need clarification. The following Texas agencies have not responded to us.
Yes,
What is the steps and recourse we have as a 391 commission?
yes.
If they refuse to meet and provide the information, what is the legal obligation here? Please advise.
Absolutely. And that, I mean, sending a formal letter to the Attorney General is something that, I mean, the commissioners can do, county commissioners can do it, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if that if we as a
I'm sure the
as a commission
391
can
could.
do it, can sort of, I think we should do that right away.
I'm just wondering do we have to be careful there, or are we likely to
Well,
get a response we don't like, or I don't know.
it's pretty clear,
It's
isn't
about
it?
how you word it. I think really, it's not threatening. It's like, hey, based upon what we understand as a 391, they are obligated to coordinate with us.
And the legal precedent of Waller
Yeah.
County and
And please,
Yeah.
and we have these pseudo organizations, we'll list them all out of the letter. We've had responses back and the nature of the response of each of these different. I think just a letter alone might get a response from the Attorney General's office.
yeah,
That might help,
yes.
not hurt.
So
My gut's telling me.
we might want to reach offices, and she was talking about the fact that,
We're still recording, are we?
yes,
Okay.
And she was talking about the fact that maybe we could reach out to Paxton's office saying that this is a health and safety, using that avenue also.
Mhm.
So maybe we could combine the two, and I can find out from her how far she got. But
Yep.
I do believe the commissioners are the avenue, because if we need from our commissioners court, we go through our DA to get, help on an opinion for different things. So I believe that we can reach out to their office just as
Yeah,
in
but
the
if we're
commission.
asking a question about a 391, it probably should come from
Come
the
from
391,
us.
not from
Right,
separate
Okay,
yeah.
commissioner's
Well-
court.
okay.
I would think. I mean,
Well,
Yeah, I think
Byfield's
so,
been through
too.
this. Waller County was, Judge Duhan went through this with TxDOT and some other agencies that they literally had to file a suit and they
yeah,
won that.
a
So
little bit different though, because that was
Yeah.
Water County.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the county judge was more than happy to do all
it
that.
was a 391 though that did it.
Yes.
Who was that with? It wasn't another county, was it? It was just
It-
Waller County and maybe one city or?
It was their city, a city, and then they had school districts. They did have other towns. But he's also a lawyer, so he knew how to word it.
Well, maybe that's who we need to talk with as well.
So, okay.
Well, let's investigate that. Uh, See what that might look like. Okay,
Well, are you going, I mean, who's going to investigate that? For the
Well,
minute.
I
The two of
heard-
us-
Commissioner McCall mentioned that she would talk to Nancy White.
Okay.
Get some additional information there. And
Okay,
I heard Commissioner Holt kind of volunteer to come up with a rough draft on a letter to the Attorney General.
Yeah, I will.
okay,
And I will take it upon myself to have a conversation with Dan Byfield to see what he advises
okay.
in terms of going that route with the Attorney General and in terms of potential litigation, since that's where this is likely headed.
And I think I'll reach out to Judge Duhan again,
Okay,
Just
got you down for that too.
just see what if
Sure.
he can weigh in. I know he's extremely
He's
busy.
been, yeah, but he's also very helpful.
He is,
And very
He
generous
has-
with his time and advice.
yeah.
Anything else on this agenda item? Okay, let's go on to agenda item number 3, update from members on best developments in your territory. Anything new?
Nothing, not a word.
Um, Anything new that you're aware of?
I'm aware of no new projects, either by rumor or on ERCOT website, out of the one that's on ERCOT from Kerr, which is a mountain home on 469, with the other two possibles that have been previously discussed, but not on our website, which is still Center Point and Upper Turtle Creek. We see no new developments on that as far as plan, town halls, or anything else. So it's gone quiet on those two and still in planning, but there's been site prep on Mountain Home previously. We believe that's on the LCRA side,
Mhm.
right? Just like you've seen in Comfort
Mhm.
site prep.
Which is all the more reason to get LCRA to tell us what the heck is
Yeah,
going
what
on,
point are we at?
Yeah.
Exactly.
where they're at. So, what about the Harper? I know it's Gillespie County, but have you heard anything more about that?
No, I'm not from last meeting on Harper.
The thing
Just curious.
I've seen about Harper that's really impressive is that Peregrine Energy is going into PR mode. They had a very slick ad in the Fredericksburg newspaper. And also, I don't know, do you know about this neighborhood site called Next Door?
Mhm.
You know that? Well, for the past, before I went on my trip, anytime you went on there to read any post of any kind, you were confronted with this huge Harbor Best, which is called Rogers Draw ad. And it was very slick, but very misleading.
Sure.
And I really, I mean, I really felt like it needs to be, taken apart and all that misleading information. I don't know if is anybody here from Gillespie County? Maybe they've already been responding to that, but it's a very good case study in best PR. And, so, yeah.
I'm pretty dubious that they'll change any hearts or minds in Gillespie County.
Yeah, right.
I don't blame them for trying,
Yeah, well,
and they have put on some pretty.
but they're
substantive
trying
measures.
with lies, and very misleading information.
Sure.
But I think it would be good for us. I mean, I actually don't have a copy of the paper. I'd like to get it. Be
Good.
a good exercise
Hmm.
to,
I was doing some work with actually Joe Rexich and some others trying to chase down the Centerpoint best project and see if anything is progressing, and he reached out to a realtor, we drove back in there at the likely sites, and there are a couple lots that are for sale that would be perfect with them. They, for 10 acres that butts up against the LCRA substation. Talking to the realtor, there's no indication that anybody is buying them, or it's certainly not a best or a corporation that looks like they could be a best entity. So Cedar Point seems to have kind of gone dead, but who knows? We really don't know what's going on in the background, but
Commissioner Carpenter, did East Point lease property? They didn't even buy, right?
I'm not sure where that transaction is right now, honestly. I don't know that anything's been finalized. But they were,
But
Initially,
they were
they were.
talking about leasing, right?
but I think they were moving towards a purchase, not a
Okay.
lease.
all right, then let's go.
well, a second, I wanted to ask if we could go back to Flat Rock Creek for a second, because you said that there are indications that they're actually, there's work going on at the substation that indicated there might be movement for the best as well. Is that right, Jay?
Yes, they have been doing some work, it looks like, to upgrade that site.
And
That's the LCRA part.
but I thought I heard somebody from that area say that they saw a survey hands as well. And I just wanted to ask if it's not appropriate to consider something like what Van Zandt County did for Flat Rock Creek, since obviously our state agency approach is not going to be soon enough to do anything if they're moving at this rate. If we shouldn't really start looking at using the fire codes the way Van Zandt County did to confront Flat Rock Creek.
Well, we have a fire marshal, and we have a development plan but we don't have anybody who's come in with development plans. So you can't do anything until. Right.
Okay,
But we're still, I still have people contacting me if they move dirt or anything. So,
but so when they're on the ERCOT site, that just means, they're in the active, right? Isn't Commissioner Hall? When they're on the ERCOT site, that doesn't mean necessarily that a plan has been submitted. That just means that they've announced their intention to develop a plan, or
Multi-stage. There's about 5 stages of approval on each site on the ERCOT website Excel spreadsheet.
yeah,
And part of it is a plan has been received and reviewed. Initially, it's informed notice that they want to develop on a certain site. That's the first one. And then as it goes along, it includes they received the plan, reviewed the plan. And then eventually it's authorized to be energized on the
on the
grid.
grid.
That's the final step on the right side of the spreadsheet.
Right. So our point of intervention is only after the plan has been reviewed. Is that where we can come in? We can't come in before?
New territory, honestly. Frankly, like, great question. The earlier the better, frankly. You know, as soon as something is noticed, we shouldn't miss it. And we should be going to ERCOT and asking for, what is this? What have you received? Have you received the plan yet? That's what I would think.
Well, I
And then
think the county is free to act independently as well in terms of just if you have a developer's name and contact, reach out to them and ask for their plans and where are they on this? Doesn't hurt to ask.
I have the entire East Point's site plan.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought that to the counties. This has been a while back. And it was just an idea of what they were trying to do.
Right.
We can't preemptively force them to give us a site plan that they haven't created.
True.
There's nothing, and we can't force any landowner to disclose their property purchase. That's all private.
Right.
So until they submit a plan, we can't do anything.
Yeah, into our development office.
We can't apply restrictions. What we can do in comfort is tell them that Flat Rock Creek Road is a one entrance, there's no other exits. And because of that, supposedly the fire code gives us the ability to deny that development. They have to figure another exit. That's on them to figure out. Other than that, it's property rights.
I think Kirk County is working with the state fire marshal's office, particularly on the Black Mountain Fest, and there are some preliminary plans that sounds like the state fire marshal's office has changed their position. They're willing to review some preliminary plans and weigh in. I don't know what that means. And I'm not working that directly. So our Commissioner Tom Jones has been working on that, and I guess he's planning to inform our Commissioners Court next Monday as to what's really going on and where they're at in that and what they think they may or may not be able to do. And I've invited him to come to this commission's next meeting to let us know directly what they're doing.
Good.
And just for clarification, Black Mountain is Black Mountain Energy, which is part of a
Yes,
mountain
sir.
home
Right.
development. They're very tricky with the naming, by the way.
What did I say?
You said Black Mountain.
That's what I'm talking about though.
Yeah, that's the Black Mountain Energy is
Yeah.
the company
The company.
doing the best in mountain home.
Correct.
And like you'll see, the names will somewhat change a little bit, even in Comfort, where they'll try to take the name of your
Yeah.
Kendall substation, Kendall Substation Energy, and
Mhm.
try to infer an association that's not actually there.
The gentleman from East Point told us last time it's called Kendall Energy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not East Point, it's Kendall Energy.
And I saw that change on the ERCOT
Oh,
website.
you did?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so board member input on other developing information. Commissioner Carpenter, let's start at your end. And what do you have? Just go down the row.
We've had nothing. We know of nothing coming. Nothing from our development office has been forwarded to me. I've received no emails, no requests for meetings. So I have nothing to offer on this one.
One update, I have been in touch with a Gillespie County citizen group. And they are very organized, and she wants to have the Kendall County judge and one commissioner attend one of our meetings and maybe even come down and meet with the hopes to understand the 391 commission and to join our 391 commission in the future. So there's perhaps some growth, but there's some some steps and where they're trying to get their members of the board to see what we're doing, not just because, you know, that was a citizen group that showed up
Yeah.
during our last meeting. So
Okay.
actually, I thought they were going to be here.
Yeah.
But maybe they're in Kerr County, right? Maybe, I hope not. I hope that I did not give them the wrong location. But no, I did not. I told them that it's probably best after I got back from also travel, that they meet with me in the courthouse, discuss it, and then show up to one of our meetings. So I think our relationship with them will grow. Should they become a member, we'll have to handle that.
Sure. Let's see.
Was that an organized citizens group or just a group of citizens?
Pretty organized from what we saw up at the presentation in Gillespie. Pretty organized citizen group. Not quite as organized as Comfort's group, but getting there.
Any other meetings that you know of that they're having? Right, like right away?
None that they told me about. Good question.
I'll be more than happy to try to go travel. I guess only two of us can go. Office.
Look,
I mean,
for anybody who might watch the video, I mean, if one of the commissioners or the judge in Gillespie County wants to reach out and find out more about this chapter 391 and what we're trying to do and what it would take to join, I'd welcome a call. I haven't received any yet. Does anybody else?
No.
From Gillespie? I mean, I'm talking about from a commissioner or judge. No. Anyway. Happy to talk to him.
Yes, sir. I gave you your information and website.
Okay. And any of us can, but you know, until they actually express an official interest.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I will, I'll just inform the board. Last week, Commissioner McCall and I both were in Austin and we testified before the House State Affairs Committee on Representative Westfordell's proposed House Bill 1378. So that was an awfully early morning to get up to be there by 8. And I get there. The good news is they had the hearing in the morning. So I didn't have to wait all day and because we were a little concerned that it wouldn't happen until after 5 p.m. So we got it out of the way, but they limited my comments to only 2 minutes. So I didn't even get halfway through my statement. But I did give out hard copies and I've emailed it to them all, and my prepared comments are available on our website. Would you like to add anything? Commissioner McCall, I think actually was far more brief. You got through yours.
I knew we were limited to 3 minutes or less, but I didn't realize it until, I don't know, shortly before we had 2 minutes, and didn't matter who you were, you got 2 minutes. So, we got a little pushback. There were 15 board members on the State Affairs Committee, and I was reading over the last couple of days that is where the State Affairs Committee is where conservative bills go to die.
Oh,
And so, if nothing else, my intention was just to, after being at the Secure the Grid meeting 2 days before, was to let them know of the hazards. And have you thought of evacuations? Have you thought of what you're going to do with hospitals and jails? And are we just, if there was a failure, what are we going to do? Just let people out of jail? How do we get people out of the hospital? I mean, we, just like with TCEQ, I don't think that these people on the State Affairs Committee or with these agencies have thought about what it looks like when something happens. And you can't think of that it's not going to happen. It will. So you have to be thinking of that. But that was my intention with my wording.
Okay. Yeah, it was good. And I'll point out it was Representative Brady who came back with some kind of snarky questions for you. And obviously he didn't care. He's 100% in on battery energy storage because we need it for our grid. The good thing, I kind of already mentioned, just again, highlights, I took advantage of the opportunity to meet with my senator, Pete Flores. And he was very cordial and, you know, asked if he could do anything to help. And he said that he would try to use his influence to get PUC to the table to meet with us. Otherwise, I'm going to inform everybody that Commissioner Carpenter and I had a conference call with Representative Chip Roy, U.S. Representative Chip Roy and his team on May 1st. And we were talking about the best problem, and in particular, his efforts to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act and any other sources of green energy subsidies that have so distorted the market here in Texas. And I will tell the public that Representative Roy is 100% on board and will do all he can to work to repeal some of these subsidies. But he still suggests, you know, hey, we've got to reach out to everybody that we can think of, both of our senators. So I'm talking about Cruz and Cornyn, and get them on board and, you know, wherever we think it needs to go. But the more people you can motivate and start reaching out to our politicians who it's really in their hands. I'm very encouraged by what I see of the current administration in general, trying to curtail some of this kind of stuff. Just because it's in an approved budget doesn't mean they have to spend it. But it would take legislative action to actually repeal it. So not sure what happens, but let's see.
Well, thank y'all for going up there.
Well, it turned out it was worth it after all. Maybe not for my testimony, but you know, I'll just make a comment because I couldn't up there, but we've recently had some discussion in our Kerr County Commissioners Court about on-site septic facilities and possibly even enhancing our rules for operating OSSF. And our current, the health and safety code allows counties to do that. We have the authority to actually have more stringent rules. They have recognized that septic systems, if not installed properly or operated properly, have the potential to contaminate our surface water and our groundwater. And so they're allowing local government to effectively control that. And yet they've no allowance whatsoever for the potential catastrophic contamination of our surface water, groundwater, soil, everything, if we ever have one of these things that catches fire. So I just find it really ironic that you know, here we're very secure when it comes to septic systems, and we have the authority to even go further if we want to, but not when it comes to battery energy storage systems. So, all right. Also, because that got me on a line of thought, because I'm also in precinct 2 in Kerr County, you know, we've spent over $60 million to install a sewer collection, wastewater collection facility that collects sewage from the Center Point area and sends it to the Comfort wastewater facility. So thank you very much for taking our stuff, but
And which is treated and then discharged into the Welland River. Thank you.
yeah, well, anyway, I'm not a proponent of that project. I was always against it, so I'll just say that. But again, we've spent $60 million. Most of it is through the Texas Water Development Board in various grants or loans. I think the agricultural department also had some money for us. But again, they've recognized the importance of having good sewage treatment so that we don't contaminate rivers and groundwater. Anyway, so much so that I contacted a senior member of the Texas Water Development Board to see if they could find any way to weigh in. That individual's name is Joe Reynolds, to weigh in and help us. I mean, if they're willing to fund something for $60 million, maybe they're willing to have something to say. Anyway, he said he would talk around and get back to me. So we'll see if anything comes out of that. But I think we have to scratch around as much as we can and throw anything against the wall and see if anything sticks. And I think That's all I have. So Commissioner McCall?
I think you covered all the legislature. Right, we're on 5. I think that's.
Yeah. Well, again, we have a good summary on our website of the good bills that are worth supporting that deal with battery energy storage systems. So I encourage the public to look at that and make some phone calls. Write some letters. The one I like the best is Representative Monies that would tax them equivalent to the federal subsidy that they receive.
Yeah.
Probably no chance that that'll come out of the committee, but
Well, I do know that Representative Verdell was saying that if they don't pass a number of bills, the ones that do pass, they're going to try to amend with maybe some of the information from the other bills that didn't pass. So it's nice to hear that they're thinking ahead. It sounds like even though one person authors a bill, it sounds like a lot of our representatives are going to be working together to get information in, which I know we had talked about before, can we amend? And it sounds like
Yeah.
they're talking about that, so.
Well, okay, I'll bring this up now then. I wanted to know from you if you had the impression that that would be possible. And, because, I mean, I'm going to say it later in the agenda, but it's obvious that, you know, the approach of an omnibus bill at this point is really completely, you know, pie in the sky. We're too late out the gate. But, you know, there's, if we want to try to get like a little amendment in, who is there anybody in that group of authors of bills that we support who's coordinating this process of trying to amend when they, you know, I mean, is there any kind of organization? So
It sounds like Wes Verdell was open to that since he brought it up. I
Okay.
believe Bob Hall would also, from
Okay.
what I heard.
what
at
about
the-
money? Did you?
I didn't hear him,
Okay.
but I would think that those offices of people that we've heard on these symposiums would be offices to reach out to.
Okay,
To ask. It sounds like they're open to that, but
okay.
Verdell is for sure because he mentioned it, so.
Well, do you mind if I tell you the one amendment that I would like? Because I'm not sure that it's come up and I don't want to just like reach out without going on what what I'm doing. So, I mean, I would like to see if they would be willing to put forward an amendment that, you know, I bring this up every time, that AI data centers and cryptocurrency mining operations are obliged to pay directly for their energy, and that ratepayers, individual households, will not have their rates go up as a result of the grid now supporting AI data centers. You know, it's, so it can be in one sentence.
is that out there in anybody's bill yet?
That's what I
haven't
haven't,
seen
that's
that.
why I'm not sure that it
Yeah.
would, you know, if it could be, maybe I should ask, Barbara. If that would,
But they're bringing up these data centers when they're talking about energy and other bills.
Yes.
And so it's they're
It's
talking
out
about
there.
it. Yeah,
right,
they're hearing it.
okay,
I think Barbara Ferguson would be the best person to contact.
okay,
She's
right,
so responsive.
she is, okay. So it's okay if I do that? Okay.
Anything else from either of you on
Oh,
this agenda item, which is
we just member
member
input.
Yeah,
Well, I was traveling basically between our last meeting and this meeting, so I didn't do as much. I did meet a retired fire marshal from the city of Fort Worth, which was very educational for me personally, but The only other things I would mention is one thing I said before, that there was there's a lot of citizen interest on the Nextdoor website. I mentioned Peregrine Energy had an ad there, but also even before that, a lot of people have been talking about it. And every time a thread comes up, I get in and tell them that we exist and tell them about our website, invite them to our meetings and tell them what we're doing. So I did that. And then the other thing was I tried to study the ERCOT spreadsheet. I found it actually quite difficult to navigate. And I wish there were some way to get a printout of it. I don't know if we could do that. I was thinking of it. It's huge. It's very, very difficult. And but somehow, I did see that there were 8 best facilities which have canceled.
Yeah, the last,
Is that, yeah.
the
8
last
facilities.
tab.
Yeah, I guess that's it. And I really wondered if we can get the backstory to that, like what causes a BES to cancel? I mean, I know that some BESs, I sent y'all an article about some generating facilities which have decided, not to take money to actually withdraw from a special loan program. But what causes the BES to cancel? Is there any way you think we could find that out? I mean, because the reason for cancellation is relevant to us, right?
Yeah, okay.
Huh?
Yeah, the end around approach, what caused it to cancel? Yeah, little research first and then ERCOT second.
Would you think ERCOT would tell us?
I don't know.
Or we can ask?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the criteria to cancel? And give us an example of that. Yeah. We'd have to go back to that. Our point of contact.
Yeah, I mean,
You
he
know,
seems cooperative, genuinely.
Mhm.
It just hard to say what he'll tell us. He's a lawyer.
Yeah, sure.
So
when you bring that up, the East Point Energy gentleman that has come to a few of our meetings, East Point / Kendall Energy, he said that in the planning process, they kind of find out what they can do, and then they kind of develop a plan. Like, how much energy can we put at this substation? And then they kind of start developing a plan from there. So I'm wondering if that figures into it too. Once they have a certain site, if they can't do what they want and they look at the numbers and, I wonder if that's part of.
It just doesn't pan out.
Right.
Their interconnectivity agreement will dictate how many watts can go back and forth to the grid. So if East Point and, whichever competing, if they're competing for the same power station, it's really who can get to it first. But
to me, those agreements tend to be more technical.
yeah,
And it's, what frequency are they going to transmit power and how will it be brought on or shut off, or very specific to, the electrical engineering aspects of
Mhm.
introducing power at the right time
Mhm.
and the right amount. And not, apparently they don't really care where you're located
no.
or how you've installed your facility or what other kind of protections you might have other than what might be seen as will protect the grid. Oversurge or something. Okay. Anything else? I mean, we've talked a little bit about the bills in the Texas legislature. And again, there's a really good summary on the website in terms of bills to support. There are a lot of good ones. Not a single one other than maybe Representative Money's bill that taxes them. Otherwise, they're all nice and good if they pass, but none of them by itself
No.
gets us where we need to be.
And I think they know that they're trying to, West Verdellsville, they're trying to get their foot in the door at least.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I think even Bob Hall, one of his bills, this was the 5th session they've tried to pass. So they're trying. But they're up against
Yeah.
a lot of lobbyists and
Right.
special interests.
Well, and even the governor's office, I think, is fully supportive. They've bought into this whole
Yeah,
concept and the free money that,
that can
Great.
change.
let's hope so.
What, can I just ask about the hearing? The hearings were, like, did you listen to the other speakers? Were there very many who spoke against? Were there very many?
Nobody spoke against it.
Wait a minute.
What?
But so most of the speakers were in favor of it. Good.
I think there were 7 total.
Uh,
7 total speakers, so.
And there were one or two that were kind of not on either side of it. I'm not sure why they bothered to speak, but
Would they
I
have
guess they were-
taken
they were
as
asked
many
to.
speakers as there were some?
yeah, technically, I think anybody who wanted to speak had the opportunity.
You
They
even
would have had to, you sign up to speak, you get to speak, but you only got 2 minutes.
Right. Okay.
They actually asked the audience if there was anybody else.
Oh.
Yeah, they did.
They did, they allowed that.
So I should have stood up and said, yeah, I want to speak again. I could have finished it.
Should have had an alternate. I should have been there
Yeah.
to read your second.
Actually, that would have worked too.
Yeah.
I could have just made a line where I got. Anyway, okay, then let's move on. Linda, you asked to talk about the focus tool.
Well,
Let's move on to item number 6.
yeah, that was a holdover from the last agenda, and I have really decided to cut bait on that. I mean, it's a good idea, but as I said before, I mean, what we need is, it's clearly a regulatory framework, and the legislature needs to require PUCT to enact it.
Yep.
But we're too late out of the gate. It wasn't even worth my time to take somebody else's time to ask them if we're too late out of the gate. We are. So I think that there's no point in trying to flesh out that focus. I think it's a good, it's good for us to have in mind what it is we'd like to see. And depending on what happens in the legislature, what comes out of this session, the commission can keep in mind to possibly get a head start on the 90th legislature. But for now, I think that we can put this in the back pocket.
Yep.
So.
Wouldn't disagree with you, although your comments about the next legislative session, the sooner you get started on this kind of stuff, the better.
Well, okay,
And,
I,
much as I hope it goes away, I don't think this problem's going to go away anytime too soon.
yeah,
Not with a 36 megawatt demand,
what?
So,
not with a 36
Oh,
megawatt
no,
demand
right,
from ERCOT.
right.
It's a double.
Well,
okay, then. Any other, let's go on to item number 7. Appropriate action on any other administrative matters.
I would love for Gillespie County to, if not join us, join another county. They have to be neighboring, don't they?
Yeah, that's my understanding, yeah.
It just sends a bigger signal to the state
Sure.
that it's not just one county or 2 counties, that's the greater majority of the ones affected. That I know we're focused on Best. I have bigger issues than just that. I don't have more important issues than Best, but we have Lennar Homes. We have all these other things that are trying to come, and it's going to affect us even more.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the water situation where 30,000 gallons on site is enough to even begin to even quench even anything. It just,
Yeah.
to me, the
It's-
fire code is not up. I don't like fire code, just to be honest with you guys. I don't like all the property rights violations, I think it takes away when you start enforcing fire code and the requirements on things that we never did before. But in this situation, it's a joke. And I can't believe NFPA or any of the IFC, I can't believe that they have the limits of on-site water.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I told, Chip Roy it's laughable that there's no fire hydrant. In California, the firefighters went to hook up to a hydrant and had no water. We don't even have a fire hydrant.
That's right.
Therefore, if we were to get a water line from Comfort WCFD, we would drain their entire water district in a matter of an hour or two if you had a hose blasting full blast. I don't know. But I think the more the other counties around us, I don't know what that looks like for our board, because the more of us you get on here, and I know these meetings are kind of dry, right? It's kind of like, we're doing something. At least we're trying to do something, right?
It's state agency, they're dry.
Anyways, it seems kind of.
Bobby's fallen asleep a couple times, but
It's really frustrating to be doing what we're doing when you know that you don't have the authority or the legal backing of anything at all to try to help our community.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating with all this stuff going on. You go to social media and you see people firing shots, and it's like, we don't have the authority. We don't have the authority to just stop things. Then you see someone that says, oh yeah, you do. Well, show me. I'm totally willing to work with our community and listen to what they have to say and try. And I think it's really good when we do. But
I'd like to expand on that really quick if I can jump.
go ahead.
It was on my notes. Van Zandt County, Nancy White, she is trying to put all of the counties in her council of governments, her COG, to form a 391 to add them. And so if you are able to get the judge or.
our judge?
Well, that's what you can, I know.
Okay.
If we're able to possibly add I do think we're stronger together. I really do. I think, but it is a good idea.
National convention slogan.
I know. That's what
You just
I
ruined
think
it.
Nancy had, but I think the idea is a good idea. And even when we talked about it before, it would strengthen numbers. Okay, just anyway.
You're right.
So can we task you with possibly if you start having conversations with Gillespie County or?
There is a meeting set. Do you want me to reveal the date and time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It is on May 13th,
This is what meeting?
Gillespie, where they're coming to Kirk County. They reached out just to me, and, to be fair, I should go back to them and say, hey, we'd like to expand the scope, maybe with more of our 391 commission than just
Is it
me.
their county commissioner?
It is
judge?
3 people. It is, well, actually, it's 4 people. Their judge, their county judge, one of their commissioners, their county attorney, and the leader of the citizen activist group. Her name is Esta Schneider. The judge is Judge Daniel Jones.
Okay.
And I'm blanking on the commissioner, but the commissioner and the county attorney. It is on May 13th at 2 p.m.
13th or 15th,
Sorry, hold on.
Tuesdays.
May 13th at 2 p.m. at Kerr County Courthouse.
During our commissioners.
Kirk
At
County?
Gillespie County Courthouse.
No, at Kerr County
Oh,
Courthouse.
really?
Yeah, I know it's during your meeting, right?
Yeah.
Well, that saves us from getting blamed for breaking the quorum rules.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, anyway,
But I mean-
there is time to post the meeting. I guess we need to find out who do they want to meet with?
So far, they just said they wanted to come and meet with me. I think we're much larger than one person, so I wanted to open this up. It's the right time to do it.
Okay.
And then we could post the meeting if necessary with more of Kerr, more of Kendall, but yeah, you have a conflict with your daytime.
We'll have court next Tuesday, and I imagine it's gonna go. the
Well,
full
unless you-
duration.
Yeah, you have some really long.
If you can get them to schedule it a different day. Might,
Is it Don Weinheimer,
Um,
commissioner? Or Bruce Knights?
give me one second.
what
I'll
about
give you
Tuesday or
the.
Thursday of next week? 14th or 15th?
While you're doing,
I don't know if it's that simple with
Yeah.
their schedule too, you
Yeah.
know, honestly.
can
Well,
you
anyway.
help us understand the way the quorum would, sincerely, how the quorum would work if three of our 391 commission went to a meeting that wasn't,
I think we would just have to post it.
okay,
We're not prevented from doing it if it's a public meeting.
Yeah, because 3 would be a quorum.
okay.
Yeah, it would be posted.
So-
Maybe that might be part of their strategy, but the
Okay,
names again, the county judge is Daniel Jones, the Gillespie, county attorney is Sarah Neal. And the commissioner is Keith Kramer.
Keith Raymer.
Keith Kramer
Kramer.
with a K.
Keith Kramer?
Remember, we ran into the issue where we said we couldn't have a meeting outside of our county line.
Yeah, as a court. As a commission, 391. But, you know, I think it's worthy to give you the information. I want to provide that. We'll talk to our county attorney and look about, I want to make sure we don't bust any forum rules and how we would do this correctly. If you want to expand the scope,
The only reason
what
they
you
would,
just made.
the only reason they have it in Gillespie is to include you guys, I mentioned. Or have it in Kerr County.
Yeah, it is to join the commission,
Okay,
hear about what we're doing and how we're doing it. I can provide one opinion, but it's more fruitful of a discussion to have more than just me there.
well, you have
I'm
my,
available, I can attend.
you have my support, and I believe that if we're gonna allow another county in, we have to go back to our.
Oh, yeah.
Reports.
It's going to be an endeavor, new agreements and both commissioners, all 3 commissioners courts. Mhm.
But that shows that
So we can start, but
I'm willing to do whatever I can do.
my only caution is we just need to be 100% convinced that they are aligned
Right.
with us.
Sure.
As long as they're thinking the same and aligned the same, and then fine. There is strength in numbers, but
There's nothing like being on the
We're
same
saying-
page.
that we could do is get somebody in that's gonna, start diverting us and
So, so when I met all 4 of those commissioners at a training in February, I told them to reach out to Dan Byfield. I gave him all the information about the 391. So,
Yeah.
and then Bandera was asking, one of the commissioners from Bandera was asking me about our 391. So I don't know if they have to be contiguous. I know that they have to be, the counties have to be in the same cog. And Bandera and Gillespie are. So my thought
well,
was
they are
maybe,
contiguous too, so contiguous.
are they?
Yeah, Bandera butts up against Kerr.
Well, I mean,
Bandera,
for
Gillespie.
Gillespie.
And Derek.
Oh, to do it
Gillespie.
between
Yeah.
those 2.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I know they both want a 391. So
Yeah.
That
but I
may
mean,
be something
in terms of
we
doing
ask.
ours, they could.
Dan
I
Byfield,
don't know
yeah.
about that.
I mean, so we have there are a lot of counties in our cog.
Yeah.
I was trying to look it up again. So
So
anyway, that might be an idea too, just in case we can't go forward
but
with
now
ours.
Bandera has some real issues. With solar and vests.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
I just don't know how united they are as a court,
I don't,
yeah.
because they
Well, that's-
let in a lot, Bandera.
they're kind of behind the.
have they let it in or have they not had a choice? Yeah.
So anyway, just an idea.
That's a lot of the problem is you can only do so much. And it ain't much.
Right, yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, true.
I would think
So
so.
all,
but
all we do is
I know that's all.
talk with them and really see where they come from, what they hope to achieve.
I had that in my mind.
Okay, so where does that leave us? Any other administrative matters?
While we've been in this room, I've had an email that came through from East Point Energy
Yeah.
I guess it came in right before we started, asking for a meeting next Wednesday at 1:00.
Asking to meet with us?
Meet with our fire marshal and our
Oh.
toddler birds, our outside council that we've hired.
He's our best fire guy.
Okay.
I just don't want to let that not get told and then have someone saying, well, you didn't.
All right, any comments from the public? Move on to item number 8, public comments. Come on up. Where do you want her to make comments from?
You can, wherever you would like, because I think that
Okay, well-
just if you'll say who you are and what county you're from.
Okay, Susan Bell, Kirk County, just 2 points. Fredericksburg Tea Party is gonna have a really big meeting this Thursday with Don Huffines. It would be really nice if you wanted to say something about that meeting on the 13th, if it's open to the public. So just because you're gonna have a pretty captive audience of upwards over 100 people, and a lot of people come from Harper. So it might just be nice, because in my dealings, a lot of folks just don't understand what 391 is, but I know there's interest. So that could be something. If you think you might like to do that, I'm sure you all have contacts with Angela Smith. If not, I could do that. But I think that would be a great venue. And I'm also going to make reference, Commissioner Holt, to that gentleman that spoke at the Kirk County Patriots last time. His presentation was the most concise
Yeah.
for laymen. The more people that could set eyes on Nextdoor
And,
or
you know,
ever,
it's posted on our website,
it's on your website. Yeah, if it could be replicated elsewhere,
Steel
I
Shamelessly.
think that that's great. The only last question I have, early on, you were talking about the laws or whatever it is to get one of these started, and they don't exist. Is that how it is? Like in California, they just, if somebody wants to do one of these vests, they just do it? Like, in other words, where they're highly regulated in California. I know we don't want to do it, but I just wondered if you knew that it was the same methodology to get one
Trying to
started.
introduce laws now because of what happened with more local approval authority. And it's one of theirs is Senate Bill number 3, which they're trying to push through their current legislation because of what happened. So it does kind of, they're falling in the same suit. They're
Okay.
just probably about 3 to 5, no, they're about 5 to 10 years ahead of us in development.
But you're watching that because I think we could learn something, believe it or not, from California. But let me know if you'd like me to ask Angela, hey, you know what, could we do a little 3-minute blurb? Because Don Huffine's going to be the main speaker, but I think it'd be a great opportunity.
Just campaigning for Don Huffines, or what's he talking about?
Well, he's just, I'm sure he's campaigning, but usually at the beginning of the meetings, I'm sure you've been, Commissioner Paces, where, I mean, if somebody wants to talk, I know Angela's taken a keen interest in this. And even if we're 3 minutes, to say, hey, you know what, in case you're interested, we're going to have a meeting on the 13th. You're going to have a nice captive audience in areas up there that, you may be wanting to include. So,
Yeah, so which means I need to quickly figure out if they want this to be a private meeting
Yeah.
or a public.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me know if you need any assistance with that. I'm happy to do so.
Quorum of
yeah, exactly.
either,
Thank
you're
you.
already too late for quorum of commissioners. No, you're not. That's next week, right?
13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could post that if you got more than 2 commissioners there. But even with this, if we're gonna have, like Linda, for example, then we need to post it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see some advantages to having a private meeting.
Yeah.
So for that, only one of us can be there, right? And I'm good with that.
See what they say.
All right. Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you. Administrative matter. I totally neglect. There's value, I think, in going to Austin, even though it is a long drive. you three have done it recently on behalf of
I have,
what we're doing. I thought you did.
no,
Okay.
unfortunately.
My thought is maybe more of us go up there. But we have to find the opportunity. You went on behalf of staying for a bill. I think part of the letter that we write for the Attorney General is to meet with us in person to discuss this matter. Why don't we do that? It's always better face to face, even though, you know, it is a bit of a drive.
So to do that, you mean to speak at a hearing? Are you
Yeah.
talking about to speak at specific hearings? So we have to really, I mean, this was kind of organized, at least on Monday.
State affairs.
Well,
By,
the grid.
by Secure the Grid.
I'm gonna find out when they're next.
But, and they had collected a
They keep-
petition.
They keep setting their meetings on dates where I can't attend them.
Right.
Secure the grid stuff.
But aside from what they're organizing, I mean,
Sure.
you know, we have to sort of know when a hearing is going to be scheduled on a bill that we care about.
Well, and this,
Which-
what he's talking about is meeting with the AG and just setting
Well,
an
going-
appointment.
going up-
See the
well,
AG.
that's- yes.
Up to us to decide
Yeah.
what day and
If
see if they're.
if you would meet with us.
Yeah.
That'd be great, I think.
I suspect he'd be willing to if he can work it into his schedule.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, do we need to be thinking about, you know, testifying at other bills? I mean, that was Wes's. and
Yeah.
It's, you know, good, but there are some other ones too
Right.
that are very good. So,
There's a really good, if you're on Facebook, Texas Legislative Priorities. I think I put some information from that Facebook page. Tom Glass, I think it is, he puts a lot of bills that are coming up at the beginning of the week. He'll say when they're gonna have hearings and things like that. So I can try to add that to I can email it to us.
For
We don't
information.
respond, yeah, for more, for information only, I can,
We
because it's
should
been
blind
doing.
copy people on it. I've
Oh,
forgot about that
so I
earlier,
I
but
can add that
Good.
weekly, and then
sure.
I will find out from Nancy. I texted her to find out when the next Secure the Grid is going to be.
Yeah.
But both of those things.
Yeah.
But didn't you find it helpful going to talk to your
Yes, I did. And I hate to admit it because I wasn't going to go see
he
me
was,
to people.
Senator Flores,
Yeah,
but Commissioner McCall made the suggestion and with strong encouragement. I agreed and I was glad, very
I
glad.
just went and knocked on the door. I mean, you didn't have an appointment or,
no, we
No,
have,
I called him, 5 minutes before I walked over there, just to make sure he was even in.
And you actually got in with him, not his,
Yeah.
or his handlers.
we have a book that we were given
was
from
good.
Texas Association of Counties, and it has the
Yeah,
name,
nice photo.
the
It was a-
picture, that,
Yeah.
the actual address and the.
Here, 1, 2
capital
minutes.
and all that. I said, you drove that far, you may as well go see your.
5,000 signatures. Did they get that?
They didn't get all of it, but they hand delivered them, every signature to all of the reps that they could. Senators and representatives.
Well, and the State Affairs Committee at least knows that I support a bunch of other bills beside West Riddell's.
Yeah, you had that right up
It's in
front.
a document.
Right.
By the way, I was informed by their committee chair that you can't mention any other bill. If
Oh.
you're testifying on a particular bill, you can only mention that bill.
Which is kind of like how we are in public comments. You're only allowed to talk on a certain.
Agenda.
Well, on an agenda item comments, yes.
All right, there again.
But anyway, it was interesting. They got it anyway. All right, well, we need to set a date for the next meeting.
And location.
And well, it'll be
Okay.
current. So we rotate. So, any ideas? I will say that I am going to be traveling from the 22nd through the 29th. So either before them or after, for me. But you could always have a meeting without me. We're gonna have to do that from time to time. And the only thing caveat I throw in there, if we get a letter back finally from PUC that says they're ready to meet, we should try to meet it. Accommodate whatever date they're suggest.
Well, how about the 20th? That's 2 weeks. It's a Tuesday, works for.
It works for me.
Works for me.
Okay.
Great.
The 20th
20th,
of May.
and we can say an extra prayer and hope that we get public utilities commissioners turn up.
Does that work for you, Commissioner Carpenter?
That works for me.
You want morning or afternoon? It doesn't matter to me.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, so 2:00.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh,
That's
having cataract surgery the day before. I might probably have to go in the day. I think I do.
One eye?
I'll, one eye. I have to go in the day after. Is everybody free either morning or afternoon?
morning was tough for me.
Huh?
Morning is tough. You could call in.
Yeah, I'll call and
Okay.
then we can decide on that basis. I'm not sure they'll know this far in advance, but,
Know what, whether you're gonna have an appointment afterward?
oh, but I don't know what time it will be. I'm sure I have to go in the
Yeah.
next day.
Okay.
I just don't know for sure what time.
In June starts our budget cycle, so
Yeah.
we're gonna start being pretty
Yeah,
much.
we're gonna have the same problem.
Yeah.
In fact, we already start in May, but. And on a Tuesday, we're generally okay. Our budget workshops typically are on Wednesdays. Okay. All right, so the next meeting, 2 PM, Kirk County on May 20th. With that, there being no other business, we'll conclude this meeting. It's 3:35.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.